Haute couture, what is mean by trend, what is mean by style, uh, bandwagon effect, trend watching. We also discussed about avant-garde, pret-a-porter, haute couture, collection, all these terms, right? So under terminologies, we discussed all these things. Now what we're going to discuss is fashion forecasting. So what does mean by fashion forecasting? You might or might not remember what is mean by fashion forecasting, but we have discussed it in our first class, right? So fashion forecasting. So two type of forecastings are there. You don't have to know that. One is a long-term forecasting and one is short-term forecasting. Okay. So long-term forecasting is a type where the fashion forecasters will concentrate on forecasting the upcoming trend 10 years before. What happened just right? I don't know. 10 years before. So in order to forecast what will be the trend in 2021, the fashion forecasters started working on it at the year 2010 or 2011 itself. They have been working on it. They have been trying to forecast. So short-term forecast, 5 years or 3 years before. Okay, so just like that, two type of fashion forecasting is there, long term and short term. We don't have to go know all these details right now. For now, we don't have to know all those things. So now what we need to know is what is mean by fashion forecasting. So what is mean by fashion forecasting? Yes?
Analysis of the previous trend to know about the new future trend.
Yes. So by analyzing the previous trends, what was there before, how it changed from that to this, studying all these factors, the change, the evolution, the entire process, by analyzing all these process, predicting what is gonna come next. That is what fashion forecasting is all about. Hmm? That is fashion forecasting. So in 2011, this was the trend. This was what people wanted to wear. But when it came to 2012, this is how it changed. And when in 2003, it changed to this thing. The color palette, the inspiration, the silhouette, the type of garments, even the fabric. So all these things, they will take care of all these factors. They will change how all these things changed throughout the period, and then they will predict what is going to happen next. Color palette, inspiration board, all these things, fabric, texture, silhouette. You have learned about different silhouettes, right? Hourglass, apple, inverted triangle, rectangular silhouette, right? Like that, we learned about different body silhouettes or body types. And just like that, we also learned about different dress silhouettes, right? So just like that, we will forecast what is gonna happen next, what gonna fabric people are gonna use, what color, what kind of texture, print, all these things. Hmm? They're gonna check each and every single thing, and they're gonna predict, yes, this is what gonna happen next. That is what fashion forecasting is all about. We know, right? We know. Yes. Now we're going to talk about pendulum swing. So in the last class, which was on Saturday, we did talk about pendulum swing, right? Hmm. We did talk about. So after wearing something blue jeans for a while, we will be like, now I should try out black. I should go and buy a black jeans, or maybe a ribbed one, or maybe a boyfriend jeans, or maybe a loose fit jeans, or a jeggings or something. So after wearing something for a period of time, of course we will get bored, right? So once you start living in hostel and all, we will get bored with hostel food, right? So I was like, till my +2, I used to attend classes from my home only. So I was like, Mama, your food is so boring. But my friends were like, oh, your mother is a great cook. I love her food. So they were always waiting for my mom's hand cooked food. And I was like, what is special in it? Because I always got that, right? So I always had that thing there. So I was like, what is special there in it? But my friends were always waiting for her food. Hmm. But once I started going to college, I was like, I just want to go back home. I was waiting for weekends. So all my friends, they just stayed there because we just had a Saturday and Sunday. Hmm? So it will be midnight when we reach home after finishing this Friday class. And by the time we reach home, it will be like 12 or past 12. And we will be having a hell lot of works in our hands. So most of the students avoided traveling, but I was literally waiting for Fridays. It's like once I'm done with the classes, I will just grab the next bus and I somehow will reach my home by the end of the day. And I will travel back on Sunday because I need to attend this Monday class, right? So on Sunday by 1 p.m. or something, I will just take the next bus because we need to report back in the hostel before 6:30. So it goes like that. But still, I prefer to go home on these weekends because I just missed her food. I just want to escape from those horrible hostel foods. Even when I was in hostel, I never ate from there. I just used to take those rice. I will be taking something along with me when I go back to hostel. So I will be having this ghee, the salt, papad and all. I will just have, I can have rice just with salt, but I'm not gonna have that hostel curry, whatever that thing they are preparing. So once I was having breakfast, I was literally enjoying the idli. It was quite good that day. So idli and sambar. And I was just mixing this idli with my sambar. And suddenly I just felt something. Okay. So I was just checking what kind of vegetable it is. And it came out to be a cockroach. Okay. And it came out to be a cockroach. So, and then I stopped having breakfast also. So literally, I stopped having breakfast also. You should have seen me when I came back after completing my UG. I was looking pathetic. I'm not saying I'm looking good right now, but I'm far better because I have gained weight. With my 5'9" height, I was literally weighing 55 kg at that time. Okay. I was skinny, skinnier than a skeleton. I was pathetic. I wasn't even hungry because of all those starving and everything. Hmm. So that's how it is. So once I was bored of my mother's food, and when I got to know about others' food, then I just wanted it back. So that's a pendulum swing happened in my life. So I just went back to my mom's home cooked food. Right. Once I just wanted to avoid it, but later I was like, now also I'm just like I'm a fan of my mom's food. Uh, I always like, what should I eat next? Now I'm a complete foodie. What should I eat next? Should I ask her to make me a mandi, a peri peri mandi? Maybe my favorite is peri peri mandi. So me on Sunday you are supposed to make this one. I'm always like this. I'm always thinking about what should I eat next. A pasta, maybe noodles, maybe just a plain noodles is also fine. I'm all now. It's like my mind is completely filled with all those food thoughts. What should I have next? So I don't know when I'm going to travel next, right? So I'm always like eating, eating, eating. What should I eat next? What should I eat next? Yes. So there a pendulum swing happened with me in my life. And when it comes to dressing also, of course, pendulum swing happens, right? So as I said in the last class, when I was in 6th standard, when I was 10 years old and all, this palazzos, what we call right now, were known as parallels actually. It came along with the top and all, and it was known as parallels. Okay, it wasn't having this much flair, but it was a loose fitted pants and it was known as parallels. Now the so-called palazzos available in the market right now is a kind of variation of those parallels. A flared version of these parallels. So once it was trending, when I was 10 years old, it was trending there. Everyone wants to buy a parallels. I was also having many. So yes, so it was trending at that time, and then it went. It just went. And then it was reintroduced again when I'm in my 20s. Again, 10 years later, right? 10 or 12 years later. Yes. So now it is with a new look and new name, palazzo. Stylish. Yeah, something new, right? Palazzo. So a pendulum swing happened there. A pendulum swing happened there. That is also there. Right. So once these cutted, I don't know what it is called. Chicken curries were always trending, but it went out of fashion in between, and people started to not wear those ones. But chicken curry kurtis are now trending. So chicken curry is a handcrafted product of Lucknow, and chicken curry is again trending right now. What about tie and dye? Tie and dye is also again trending, right? Tie and dye hoodies. If we now tie and dye is everywhere. Bed sheets are there, hoodies are there, kaftans are there, track pants are there, even shoes are there. So like that. So tie and dye. It was there before, but it came back, right? Like that, everything is swinging. It comes, it goes, it again comes with a little bit of twist and spices. So just like that, right? So that's it. Yes. So pendulum swing. I hope you understood whatever I was trying to say. Okay. Now, fashion cycle. Fashion cycle. So it kind of shows the journey of a particular garment, right, in the market. So it got introduced, people started using it, then it was peak in popularity. Everyone wants to buy it, right? So then it's decline in popularity, then we can call it death or obsolescence or rejection period. So that is what the 5 stages of fashion cycle, right? The 5 stages of fashion cycle we know. We know the fad cycle, we know the classic cycle. Classic garments or classic clothing never faced obsolescence or decline in popularity. It is still in peak in popularity, still in peak. Everyone wants it, right? So styles, different designs and things were introduced. The designs and patterns are changing, but the garment as a whole, it's still there existing as it is. So there is no like out of fashion sari, right? We will never call a piece of sari out of fashion. We will just call it, oh, it's an antique piece. It's a vintage. It's part of my vintage collection, right? So it's part of vintage. Saris are always beautiful. It's always good to go with, right? So fashion cycle, 5 stages: introduction, rise in popularity, peak in popularity, decline in popularity, and obsolescence or rejection. Or if you find it difficult, then you can just simply write death. Depth of that particular fashion. So mostly all the questions will be MCQ type, so you don't have to worry about that. So you will otherwise you will be like, oh, what the hell was it? It's just there at the tip of my tongue, but I'm not able to remember it, right? So you will be stuck like that. Yes. So the 5 stages of fashion cycle. Theories of fashion movement. Which all are the theories of fashion movement?
Trickle up, trickle down,
Hmm?
trickle up, trickle down,
Trickle up, trickle down, and trickle across theory, right? Trickle up, trickle down, and trickle across. We know what it is. Then, next, consumer segmentation. Consumer segmentation. So, what does mean by consumer segmentation? I'm just going to sit for a while, okay? Okay, what does mean by consumer segmentation?
It means the people who have the same characteristics belong to the
Yes,
group.
same characteristics, right? So when you are going to design something, when you are going to design something, you will not be like, yes, in that family, there is a grandma, there is a grandpa, then father is there, mother is there. So you will not be conducting a survey in between the whole family, right? Grandma will be looking for something comfortable. Parents will be looking something different. And this child, that person will be looking something entirely different, right? So when we are going to design something, you will be designing it for a particular group of people, a specific group, a specific target market or a target group. You will not be trying to answer all those questions that is there out. You will not try to answer all those questions that is there. So design is a solution, right? So you will try to answer a question which is relevant for a particular group, not for everyone. Okay. So if you want to design a kurti, then you will concentrate on a particular the type of kurtis that 18 to 25 or 18 to 22 might wear will be different from the kurti that 60 to 70 year old people might use. It will be entirely different, right? Their taste, their preferences, everything will be different. First, you need to concentrate on a group of people who share similar characteristics like age, place, climate, or qualification, social status, economically, like financial status. And based on all these factors, based on all these factors, we will design a product specially for them, right? So what if the monthly income is just 5,000 rupees? So the target group you're concentrating on, or the consumer segment or cohort that you're going to concentrate on, most of the people are having a monthly income which is below 10,000. Okay. And the minimum wage one of them is having is 5,000 rupees, monthly wage 5,000 rupees. And what if your product that you ended up designing with, what your end product cost 15,000 rupees or above that? They will not, it will not be affordable for them, right? So you need to understand your consumer, and then you are supposed to whom am I going to sell? That is what relevant is. That is what relevant is, right? To whom am I going to sell this? So you ended up making a 15,000 product. Then you decided maybe I should switch the consumer segment or the people that I'm concentrating on. Okay. What if the people who are capable of buying that product doesn't want it? It is not something they want. So that's your loss, right? So you invested your time, your money, your everything on that particular product, right? So you should have a target market. You should have a consumer segment on which you will be concentrating on. You will be making product for them. You will be selling that product to them. So it should be, the properties of that product should be something that they want, your consumer segment wants. The price should be affordable for them, for your consumer segment, right? So just because Gucci and Louis Vuitton, they are making products which cost lakhs and thousands, it doesn't mean no one is buying it, right? They do have a consumer segment or target market. They know that whoever they are concentrating on is capable of buying this product, or the people who wants to look fashionable or the people who wants to look rich will buy that product even if they end up in debt. So they know that. They understand the market. They understand the psychology. So Sanchana, Nestle, Ardra, please switch on your videos. So those ones having network issues, it's okay. Okay. So consumer segmentation. Okay. So whereas when we compare Gucci or Louis Vuitton with the H&M, Zara and all, the price is much lesser. It's cheaper compared to all. Okay, Sanchana. It's much cheaper than the Gucci ones and all, right? So they are concentrating on a particular target group. And whereas trends, lifestyles, Max are a set of brands or labels which sell pretty much cheaper products, right? When compared to Zara and all, right? So they are concentrating on a certain group. So just like that, each and every brand or a designer or a company is having certain target group of consumers based on which they will conduct the study, they will select the inspiration, and they will design a product. Okay. Okay, so that's consumer segmentation. So in consumer segmentation, cohorts are the consumers who share similar characteristics like age, lifestyle, and income. So small groups, the small groups or consumers are called cohorts. A target market is a specific group of people that you want to reach through your product. So they are called target market. So the consumers can be classified or categorized into fashion influentials and fashion followers and fashion victims. Fashion influential, though they are fashion innovators and fashion motivators. So fashion innovators are the ones who always play with all those styles. They always love to experiment and all. Like you might have seen Komal Pandey. Have you seen Komal Pandey in Instagram? She is an influencer, social media influencer. She is a girl from Delhi, I guess. So she always experiment, even though they are not feasible and not practical. But she always experiment with all these styles and all. She just wrap a piece of scarf around her strapless bra, and she's like, "Yes, you can go out like this." So it's good for all those Instagram reels, TikTok videos, and to increase your followers and all. And for photo shoots also, it is pretty much good. Okay, but it's not practical, right? No one is going to wear something like that. Am I right? So fashion innovators, they are fashion innovators. Then fashion motivators. Fashion motivators are the ones who motivate consumers to try something new. They motivate. They motivate us to try something new. Like the celebrity. So once they come up wearing something in this particular advertisement, we will be like, oh my God, that is so good. Next time I should buy something orange. If the star is wearing something orange, I should try wearing something orange too, right? Yes. So fashion motivators, the ones who motivate us to try something new. Fashion followers and fashion victims. So fashion followers are the ones who will go through the entire fashion market. They will check what is new. They will check, yes, is it looking good on me? Is this color suiting me? They will check everything and they will try to be updated always. They try to look stylish always. They will think and use. What about fashion victims? They just want they just want to look stylish. In that mess, they will just end up being a mess. Right? So they just don't care whether that particular piece looks good on them or is it suiting their body type or not. They just don't care about all those factors. They just want to wear that stylish outfit. It's not like that. Fashion is not like that. You should see whether it is looking good on me, right? So the people having small eyes, they are not supposed to do all those smoky eye makeups and all. It will make their eyes look even smaller. So they are supposed to use an eye makeup, wear an eye makeup, which will help to enhance their eyes, which will make it look a little bit bigger. So just because everyone is wearing those smoky or edgy eyes, it's okay if you don't wear it. You're supposed to think, is it good? Will it look good on me? Then you're supposed to try it. So fashion victims. Now, regulatory bodies in fashion. Regulatory bodies in fashion. We know Ministry of Textiles, advisory bodies, export promotion councils. All these are regulatory bodies in fashion who works for the betterment of textile and fashion industry, right? There is Ministry of Textiles who helps promotes these textile industry. They ensure that these fabrics are getting sold in the right price and all the artisans are getting the work they deserve. They ensure all these factors. 1 minute. They ensure all these factors. So advisory bodies are the ones who ensure textile industry or fashion industry is getting all the rights they deserve. Some of the artisans will not receive all these orders. So these advisory bodies will help them with that. They will provide loans, raw materials, and all. So just like that, they will help these organizations. Then, now, next. Role of fashion professionals, fashion designer and fashion technologist, fashion merchandiser. So fashion professionals, fashion professionals. So what is the role of a fashion designer? What is the role of a fashion designer? What is the role of a fashion designer? It's not just sketching, right? Yes, Nimita, any guesses?
Design your garments.
That's what I said. It's not just about sketching. So we will receive these fashion forecasting reports, right? So based on these fashion forecasting reports, we will brainstorm ideas, we will go find for inspirations, we will create a color board, we will create a mood board, we will create an inspiration board, we will brainstorm all these concepts and we will end up with all these things. And then we will start sketching. Then we will go search for all these materials which will suit all these designs, and we will re-sketch designs, and based on the requirements of our target group or consumers, we will shortlist few of the designs, and then a prototype will be made, and based on the review or after quality checking, the design will be finalized, and then it will be, and the final product will be made. So all these are handled by whom? A fashion designer. So she or he will have to work with the karigars or artisans. He or she is supposed to instruct those artisans that you're supposed to use this color of thread along with this color of sequences or stones. You're supposed to do it like this. You're supposed to mark this like this. So all these things, production, everything, prototype making, final production, packaging, everything will be done under the supervision of a fashion designer. Okay, so what about a fashion technologist? What about a fashion technologist? What about a fashion technologist?
Check if there's something wrong with the garment.
So fashion technologist is basically each and every garment will have a pattern, right? So they will create the pattern. So when we go for shopping, the same product will be available in multiple sizes, like small, it will be available in small, it will be available in extra small, medium, large, extra large, maybe double XL and all, right? So these fashion technologies creates pattern for all these garments. And they even decide how, if your garment is having a placket over here, then this placket will be mentioned on that particular pattern. If there is a floral print, then they are the ones who place those floral prints. So as the size becomes big, when the size go from medium to extra large, the garment becomes bigger, right? So according to that, they will adjust the design also. And they will mention these elements on the, they will mark these elements on the pattern also. So a fashion technologist checks all these factors. And along with the fashion designer, they also supervise all the activities. They do the quality checking, they do everything related to the basic construction of a garment. What about a fashion merchandiser? So for constructing a garment, we need fabric, right? We need fabric, we need lining fabric, or we might need interlining and underlying fabrics. We need thread. And if it is a one with embellishments, then we need stones, we need sequences, beads, and all those things, right? Maybe elastic will be there. So based on that, based on the design, based on all those factors, merchandisers are the one who orders all these raw materials. They will check the material. Once the fabric arrives, they will check whether the patterns are aligned properly, the distance between each design, the color of each design, They will check all the things about the stone sequences, whether this material is having defects or anything. They will check everything. And once done checking, they will pass this on to the production department. They will even handle packaging. They will check the prototype. They will be the one who handling the production. They will do the quality checking. They will be the one handling the packaging and exporting of all those products. Labeling, pricing, everything will be handled by fashion merchandisers with the help of fashion designers. Okay, so a fashion designer can also be a fashion merchandiser. Okay, a fashion designer can also be a fashion merchandiser. Yes. So with that, unit 1 is done. So I recommend you to read your this chapter very carefully, because I'm planning to conduct a test. Okay, so I don't know whether maybe I will just share the preparatory question sessions with you guys in our class group, or maybe I will just conduct a class test. So I want you guys to come prepared. I want you to read your textbook thoroughly. Okay, so come prepared and try to answer all those exercise questions that is there in your textbook. Okay? Try to answer. If you are finding difficulty, then please do contact me. Okay. Okay then. Bye-bye.